Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of GHE Diaries. Today, we have with us Keshav, who was part of an expedition in 2017 to Shade, if I'm not wrong. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah, yeah, Shade, yeah. We also like
How?
to sometimes call the expedition GHE Extreme because it was a pretty crazy one.
Uh, yes, so I've heard Keshav, and I guess that is something we're going to discover today on this call, on
Oh,
this
yeah,
conversation. Firstly, welcome to
thank you.
this episode of GHE Diaries. So, what was your first reaction when you thought that, I probably want to go on to this expedition? When you started filling up that form to get in, the
I
actual
was
expedition, how was it like?
it was just it was really exciting because yeah, I've always been going on adventures my whole life. I've lived all around the world as a kid, traveling with my mom, and so I was just like, wow, this will be my first like proper adventure by myself. So I was really excited. Uh, I mean, I couldn't wait for my parents to get home and just tell them, "Oh, hey, I did this crazy thing," because I knew they would be super supportive as well. But it was really just exciting because I mean, seeing the photos from so the expedition before us, they went to go electrify the Fuktal monastery,
Yep, yep.
and just like seeing their photos, and it was so picturesque, and it looked like a video game, you know. Uh, just like seeing that scenery, and it's like, yeah, I have to go. I just have to do it.
That's wonderful, and the fact that the parents were supportive, and you had this, you took on this journey as a solo adventure for yourself.
Yeah,
But that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And how was it like for you to actually electrify the village of Shade? What
that
was
was
that like?
that was really interesting because we actually worked with the people of the village. You know, we didn't just go and be like, oh, we know best, and put the lights up. Something that was really stressed when we were being briefed on it was, no, you really, to make an impact with these people, you have to work with them. So we had the people who stayed behind. They were telling us like, oh, how many people lived in each house, and showing us like where they, when they needed to light up the whole room with their kerosene lamps, where they would put those, and then that would be where we would put the lights. But
Uh-huh.
what was really crazy, I mean, with actually doing the electrification, is just how much soot and dust has built up in these houses from all the years of burning fires and kerosene to light them and warm them and stuff like that. Because I mean, I had my sunglasses on, my headlamp, and then I used one of the kachak, sorry, to like wrap around my mouth, because every time you're knocking in, the light bulbs, just all of this dust was like completely coming down. I mean, I'm already brown, but when I came out of the houses, sometimes I'd be like black from all the dust that fell on me. And I mean, when I'd come back to New Zealand, the shirt that I was wearing, doing all
Uh-huh.
of this electrification, I remember I had to soak it for almost a week just to like squeeze out, like, because I would soak it, dry it, and then soak it again and squeeze out just dust, all like tons and tons of like gunk, just that was like all accumulated from when we were actually doing the electrification. But once we eventually finished it, and they switched on the lights, uh it was such a huge like thing, because so they weren't like, the villagers weren't there except for the handful that was left, and there were these two kids that stayed behind, and they had never seen electricity like this in their village before. And I know
Uh-huh.
we put like this one big like street light to light up most of like the town, and them just running in and out of the light, just like completely amazed, and just like, oh, what, they have more time to play now. They have more light to play. um, and I really do wish, though, we could have been there when the rest of the villagers had arrived back, because they left their village in darkness. They left their homes
Right.
in darkness, and then when they got back, we had already done our work, and scrambled off. So it
That
would have
sounds.
been amazing if we got to see that. But no, for the people who were there, it was such a huge thing, and they were so grateful. I remember them, for most of the trip when we were climbing, the food that we had with us was, dal and rice, or like canned tuna, stuff that you can actually carry with you and go. And it was great food. But the villagers were so like happy and so grateful that they had killed a goat and like cooked it for us. And that was like the first like proper like red meat we were having on this whole trip. And I was so grateful, because it's such a big thing to do that, just
True.
for these people. And I was so grateful for that. And I immediately regretted it, not because the food was excellent, but because this is a mountain goat. These are real farm animals that are like strong animals, and so the meat was so tough, because I just piled it on my plate and I was like, all right, I gotta finish it now. But I was just chewing it. I had tears like rolling down my eyes almost, because it was so tasty but also so tough. Like, my mouth was getting such a workout, and I was like, oh, you really have to fight for this thing.
How was it like, the trek part to reach Shade?
The trek part, that was really crazy. I'm sorry, I keep saying crazy. No, but it was amazing. I mean, it was because we had some people from NDTV along with us, and they were like asking us, like doing some mini interviews and asking us how we were feeling and stuff like that. And I kept saying like, you ask me now and I'll tell you this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life, just because we didn't know how, like, you're just walking and walking and walking, and I was like, right now this is the worst thing I've ever done in my life, but if you ask me at the end of all of this, I know this will be the most amazing thing I've ever done, because it's, when you're walking, you feel tired, and when you feel tired, you kind of just want to throw your body weight and just like drag yourself along, but you can't do that in the mountains, because if you do that, you could fall off the side and fall into the river, or you could step weirdly on a rock and cause a landslide and just muck it up for everyone else. So somehow actually managed to walk, and I have no idea how far I walked. I just know that every day we walked, or on the first day, because we had to make up time of what we had missed the previous day from the road flooding. We had, I think it was 10 hours of walking. Might have been a bit more. And I was really conscious as well on that whole expedition, because I was the youngest member, and I was the slowest member of the expedition.
What age were you when you on this expedition?
I just turned 22.
Oh, pretty young.
So like I turned 22, and then the next week I went on the expedition.
Wow, that's a gift for yourself.
Yeah, but it was really interesting, because it was just such a different mind space that you're in, because your body's tired, but you just keep going. And it wasn't like I wasn't in pain or anything like that. It wasn't like that. It was just somehow my body just kept finding the strength to keep moving on. And being with all of these, because everyone else there with you, you just can't give up. You if you want to sit down and cry about it and go home, you can't, because you have to walk back.
True.
It's just like there's no other option, so you just have to deal with it, which was actually quite freeing in some ways, because you're just at the mercy of nature, and you just do the best you can. And you have all of these other people with you, who are also in the same boat, and I feel like that kind of helped motivate me and helped keep me moving. It was just like everyone's in the same boat, there's no point complaining about it, just keep walking.
Looking back at that expedition now in 2020, that's been more than 3 years now. What do you think of the kind of work GHE has been doing over the line, and the kind of impact that GHE has been creating?
I'm really proud. I'm really proud that I got to be a part of GHE when I was, and I've just been waiting to finish like with school so that I could possibly go on another expedition, because when we finished this expedition and made it back to the hotel, I was like, oh, actually finally acclimatized to the mountain. I'm ready. I was not tired. I had like more energy than ever. I was like, I could go on another expedition tomorrow.
Let's go on another one.
Yeah, you know. But no, the work that GHE has been doing, and like, it was really, really inspiring, and it really helped motivate me to continue with engineering, just to be like, no, look, you can actually make a difference. You know, you start small, and that like small, stone, like tossing a stone into a lake, that the ripples like really grow. I mean, GHE has like gone on so many more expeditions, and I've taken so like I remember seeing like there've been a lot of like expeditions that they've done, smaller ones, but like with the school kids.
Yep.
And I think that's really cool because it's actually really showing children who are the future, as they always say, what it's like to live in these areas and what it actually means to make an impact in someone's life. And
True.
how something as simple as like what we did, which was just putting solar panels and lights in this village, how that is gonna like snowball and help these communities. Like what was a really, really cool thing I found that GHE was doing was the skills development, and how they were training the women in the villages to be electricians.
Yes.
Which
solar engineers.
Yeah, with the solar engineers, which I thought was really, really cool. Because I was like, yeah, there's no point in us, coming from overseas and doing the work and then we go away and that's it. Like the actual like work that they're doing to empower the communities and develop the skills in the community was something that was really cool. And I really do want to see like GHE not just be like a Himalayan expedition, but branch out more in the rest of the world, like in the Pacific Islands, like around us. I think it could be something. Maybe it would have to be a different thing than solar panels, just because there's a lot of typhoons and that kind of like tropical storms that would probably like wreck the solar panels. But I'm sure we could actually come up with, GHE is filled with a ton of smart people that they could definitely come up with a solution, or figure out some way to make the solar panels more durable, that they could help electrify these other remote communities. Because you have the remote communities like in the mountains, and then you have these remote communities in the middle of the ocean as well.
And I guess that is one direction that GHE is probably trying to move in as well. Branch out a little out of Ladakh.
Yeah, because I do know that GHE was trying to branch and do some work in Africa as well.
Yes,
with the smart village stuff.
Yep, I mean, Rolf has been part of that initiative, and we've been trying to get, things would have worked out in a better way this year had it not been these travel restrictions that we have currently. Yeah. But we're trying to branch out as much as possible, and make an impact in all the communities around the world, to give them something that, that is, I guess, now that this is a basic necessity, right? Electricity in general is something that, we, when the cities take for granted, and if there's a power cut at all, we then realize the importance of it. But for these people who've never really seen electricity or, power on their end ever, for them, this is life-changing. This is, giving them a new perspective of life. So that's something that we strive towards. And any final thoughts that you might have for, any potential participant for an expedition, or anyone who's listening, to this particular episode and probably wants to make an impact, probably wants to contribute into making an impact on the society, but is currently unable to. Any final words for those kind of people?
I would say, if you could go on an expedition, do it. Hopefully I haven't scared you off from GHE 2017, aka GHE Extreme, because we did have a lot of crazy stuff, but crazy stuff can happen to you anywhere. Sure. That kind of stuff can happen to you anywhere. But I would say, if you get the opportunity, like I did, to go on an expedition like this, take it. To this day, I'm actually still really mad at one of my friends because he got accepted as well to come on this expedition. He put off his application to the last minute, got accepted, and then didn't end up following through. But
that's a bummer.
But if you do get the opportunity, take it. Just when life hands you lemons, you make lemonades, and when life puts a mountain in front of you, just take it one bend at a time and you'll eventually get over it. You know,
That's a beautiful quote.
But if you can, I would say to people who would listen to this, every cent, every dollar counts. So, if they can in somehow help support another person, or, make a donation to GHE, or just share the work that GHE is doing to more and more people, that would be really, really helpful.
True. Thank you for that, Keshav. It's been awesome traveling with you to Shade, the extreme expedition.
Yeah.
And following through all the nitty-gritties and the details of your journey, your first trip to India, and then coming to India and making an impact. Thank you for sharing that beautiful story here.
No problem.
It's wonderful to have you. And for our
Thank
listeners,
you.
we'll be back again with another episode real soon. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you.
Thanks. It's truly incredible and inspiring that the people can live here and that they can survive, or not just survive, but thrive in the mountains so well for so many years, for thousands of years. It's amazing.